Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Dashing with Death. Our hero, Devon, heads out across the swamp. That evening, as you are settling down at your fire that you've made with your Ignite spell, I'm going to need you to make me a surprise check at -2. Which is essentially
D10 and
5 or less is your surprise.
Yeah. I'm gonna need you to make a saving throw versus spell or take 66 fireball damage. I'm just kidding. What am I not surprised by?
You see glinted coming from before you is some sort of great winged creature. It looks soft and delicate, but it does have like a wingspan of 8 feet across or so.
Is it flying or walking?
Yes.
Or
No, it is swooping towards you in some might call it a more aggressive approach, but it doesn't quite look like a bird. You know, it doesn't have the normal feathers and beak. It's more of like a giant bat or something that is like whoosh, coming towards you, and you see it across the fire.
Is this evening time?
This is after the sun has set.
Okay.
You've like fed your goats, you fed yourself, you're making yourself kind of cozy and looking around, not exactly tired yet, and then this thing is swooping towards you. What do you want to do?
Yeah, we're gonna roll initiative and I'm gonna cast a spell. I'm wondering about the shadow snap spell that needs it to be like daylight, needs a proper shadow.
Right. You need the contrast.
Okay. Oops, slow.
Okay. You roll an 11. Our other creature will roll a 10, and you will see what you thought was the moth coming towards you was actually coming towards your goat. And as it approaches, you see it is a giant moth, not a bat, as maybe once thought. It will make a swoop attack against your goat. Ooh, natural 1 on the die. And I guess it ends up like going for a goat that might still, I guess you probably taken the iron off of your goat, but it'll swoop for a goat, like get its feet tangled up in the horns and continue its flight path without landing a successful attack.
How far does it fly in the round? Like how far past me does it go?
Movement rate 18, but poor maneuverability, so it'll take a few rounds to turn around. And I guess...
I mean, is it still within 40 yards?
Yeah.
One initiative tick after it moves?
Definitely. 40 yards is well within range.
It's not gargantuan, is it?
Medium.
Oh. Well, it needs to make a saving throw versus spell at -1.
The magic resistance... It will fail its saving throw. The cerulean bands will wrap around the creature, binding its wings, I suppose.
And I think it will drop like a stone into the swamp.
Mm-hmm. It must land some 20, maybe 25 yards out into the water after its like crashing descent. You can hear it hit. You cannot hear it struggle, for the bands bind it tight and close.
Yeah, I will listen to see if there are any more of those things about.
They don't seem to be making any noise if they are.
I will approach the downed moth.
You wade into the water at night, your vision severely limited in the direction of the moth.
Infravision. Yeah.
Oh, you do have infravision, don't you?
Yeah, but I think I think I will cast another spell as I'm trudging towards the moth. I'm gonna cast a light spell. 3 hours, probably. That's plenty of time. That's 18. Actually, half of that would be fine. Volume is doubled. So I'll just create a couple swarms of fireflies.
Okay.
Send them scouting around, and then for the rest of the night, I'm gonna leave them like some distance away from my camp as like a lure for any other nighttime creatures.
So you're creating multiple swarms. You send one in one direction, the other with you?
Eventually. I mean, for now, I'm gonna take them both with me, I think, to scout, and then
Okay.
And then for the night, I will leave them as lures out in the swamp.
Yes. Throw me a perception check, sir.
Oh, that's right.
I've make a note
Oops,
to fix
that's
that.
also not right, but it's nail like 29 or something.
Yeah, that'll do then. There we go. A little sticky pad with notes on how to fix character sheets. So you will, as you're walking forward, spot lurking just below the surface, illuminated by the light of the fireflies. Somehow, against all odds, you spot a crocodile's eyes above the water, some duckweed across its nose, waiting. It's maybe 8 feet off of the path that you're taking towards what you think is the Gloomwing that you see in the distance as the fireflies kind of move forward.
Yeah.
And off the path is a large crocodile.
I screwed up roll 20.
Uh-oh.
Now it's loading forever. I'm sure if I refresh it, it will load faster, right?
It'll just load more slowly. You can't trust roll 20.
But I think we should roll initiative with the crocodile, or is it just get blasted out of combat?
Well, you're going to see the crocodile from a great enough distance that you can choose how to interact with it, and it's not swimming towards you. It's just like on the path towards the thing. It might not be a threat, or it might want meat. It's up to you to decide how to manage the situation.
All right. When it's within 30 feet, I blast it.
Oh, okay.
Until then, I will trudge towards the downed moth.
Well, it will definitely be within 30 feet at a certain point, so I'll make a saving throw for the croc. It'll roll a natural 1 on its die.
Oh god, and its dex probably isn't that good either.
Crocodile dex is probably 7, 6. So let's call it a total of 8. But it's also like 2 per level, right?
Oh, yeah.
But, I mean...
I don't roll that well either. I roll a 7.
Crocodile has 3 hit dice, so 8 and 6 is 14. So you do 21 points of damage.
I do like max damage. 20 is the max, right?
Right. And it has 5 plus 8 is 13 plus 6 is 19 HP. So you just arcane spray down the crocodile in a single hit with a useless piece of shit spell that no one should ever take.
It is kind of, it's handy that, we're using the MP system, so it doesn't matter. But if we're using a spell slot system, it's handy to have something like that as a second level spell slot. That is usually doesn't have useful combat spells. It's kind of it's like a utility level. So it's pretty cool to just be like, second level spell slot that I don't care about.
Maybe it's going to kick ass, maybe it's going to sink.
Minor problem that wasn't really, like, there were probably more diplomatic ways to handle a crocodile, but it was easier to just throw a second level spell slot at it.
Yeah. Well, you wade past the crocodile, and coming up to about your armpits in the water, you can see the bands rising out before you, with the moth struggling against them fruitlessly in the water.
Yeah, I think this is gonna last. It lasts like a couple turns. I think like 2 turns or something.
Oof.
So I got time to investigate and drag it back. I guess I'll throw a legend lore at this moth, or folklore. See if there's anything I need. Like, do I need to worry about toxic powder on its wings, or
Yeah, give me a
Anything like that?
folklore.
Or like animal handling? Is this considered an animal?
This would be folklore to see what you might know about this. Yes, you are absolutely right. They do have some sort of pollenous or pheromonous something that they can exude from them when they feel highly threatened that will weaken their enemies. Anything that's not an insect, really.
I bet it's just like marinating in this stuff right now, right? So could I like pull out a like spare potion vial and try and fill it with this?
With the brackish water that might have these things in it? Yeah, totally.
Or is it airborne or is it?
Well, you rolled a 33. It is a pheromone that it exudes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, and maybe I should just extract its little gland that exudes the pheromone. It's just gonna weaken. It's not like will it incapacitate me in the water, or will I?
It will drain your strength at a rate of 1 point per round.
Temporarily, or something like that.
Lost strength is recovered slowly a few hours after exposure at a rate of 1 per turn.
Okay. And there's like a saving throw versus spell to negate.
Save versus poison. Yeah.
So I will probably approach it close enough to require myself to make a save versus poison to drag it back to camp.
Yeah, and go ahead and make this save at a bonus because the moth is mostly submerged, so it's not going to be able to exude it as well as it would like, but it is in a surprisingly large radius. So like maybe take a +2 bonus because it's had some time to kind of like let the smell out all around it.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay, pass.
No bonus is included in that, but yeah, that's pass. So I think I like cover my mouth with a corner of my robe. It's probably not that heavy, right? A medium size. Moths are light. I think I can grab one of the bands and drag this thing back to my camp.
Yes, you'll pull the moth by the band back to the camp. And you will have to make yourself another saving throw the second round.
Oh, is it like every round?
Every round that you remain nearby.
How many rounds do you think it takes to drag back to camp?
It's 25 yards into the water, so 1 round.
Okay, so this is in the camp. Maybe as I'm starting to poke and prod at the creature.
Yeah.
Does it reduce strength by 1?
By 1 point for each round they remain within the area of effect.
What happens when the creature dies?
Weakness effect has a 25-foot radius, and exposed creatures must save versus poison or lose 1 point of strength each round they remain in the area. It sounds like you make a save, and then you're either immune to it or you're being affected by it, rather than making a save every round.
If you want to impose that, because I'm like now about to I'm about to experiment with this moth, right?
I would say like if you had failed, if the bonus is what had let you pass your first one, then you wouldn't have taken effect until the bonus is no longer applied. But since you passed your first one, regardless, I think you can overcome it.
Okay.
Creatures who are successful with their initial save need not save again if exposure continues. Okay, I just didn't read the next sentence. So you are not going to be affected by the pheromones, but you can find this moth bound heavily by these bands. The other thing you know about these moths is that their markings are inherently disturbing and confusing. And those, if its wings were fully fleshed out or fully out and you had a good look at them from above or below, they would impose a confusion spell upon you. But the wings are currently bound tightly by these straps, and the moth had only made a very quick attack at you and past you. Actually, at your goat and past you, so you were unaffected by the spell.
I am going to attempt to put the creature down. It's considered held by these bands, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And we're out of combat, so I think I can just insta-kill it.
Yeah, you got a spear or some weapon you can drive through its...
I do have this... I was thinking a knife, but I've got my spear. Yeah.
Spear, knife, whatever you want, you can slay them all.
Yeah, so I'll run like the spear into the base of its neck or something. They don't exactly have a spine. It's an insect, but I think there's a way to kill an insect by like severing its head.
Oh, that's what you think. Cockroaches don't give a shit about severed heads. You can kill them all.
And like a silver dagger, yeah.
Yeah.
But I would like to extract its pheromone gland and maybe its wings.
Well, you can easily sever the wings.
Yeah. I don't know if I will be able to keep them intact, especially on this continued journey through the swamp. But
Moth wings are delicate. How would you if it's got like an 8-foot wingspan? How are you going to carry wings? Each one might only be 3.5 feet long with a 1-foot body.
Yeah, as like a cape. But that could be an interesting, like a preservation type spell to keep animal parts from degrading on you as you adventure, like temporarily. That may be more of a priestly thing.
There is a stasis spell that's really high level. Imprisonment.
That's more for like a whole creature, right?
Yeah, but you could maybe temporal stasis is also a spell. You might be able to find a cheap, low-level version.
Yeah, just throwing things out there. I think for now I will just attempt to remove the wings, remove the pheromone sac, and
how do you know where the pheromone sac is on a moth?
Animal handling and folklore. I guess I don't have an animal lore. Maybe I don't. I don't have a anatomy or a toxicology. So maybe like an int check at -5 or something.
Okay, I'll take it.
What do you think?
I'll take your int check at -5.
Oh.
Natural 19, modified 30.
Would you like a separate one for the wings? Or is that...
No, the wings are easy peasy, you know. You just remove them.
So I think I removed the pheromone sac intact, probably not rupturing it in the process. How big is it? Does it like fit in a used potion vial or?
Certainly. Yeah, it doesn't need a lot of pheromones to do what it needs to do.
Yeah.
Well, pheromone sacs gained, moth put down, wings acquired on your back. The rest of the night goes without incident. And the next day, you can proceed across the brackish fen. Give me another tile.
So I guess I've affixed these moth wings to my shoulders or something. I guess we'll make some sort of save or something to see if they survive the journey back. Does it freak out the goats?
No.
Do I have to worry about the goats seeing it and becoming confused? Or is it only for intelligent creatures? Are goats immune to confusion spell?
Any creature viewing the moth squarely from above or below must save versus spell or be confused, but these are no longer above or below. They're now sideways or vertical.
So they may not have any kind of effect.
Right, because I'm imagining like the wings, if you're carrying them behind you, they're not like sheer vertical. They're at like a bit of an angle, and the goats are already below. So I think their view is at like 120 degree, not a 90 degree. So the goats are,
Do I think they would be better preserved if I like tried to roll them up and put them in my backpack?
That might be a better way of.
Would that be a better way to get them back to Necrot intact? Yeah. I'll do that then.
Okay. Is your backpack full of other things? Because the moth wings are kind of gentle.
Yeah. Oh, there is a geometric compass. Is that what I use for my locate object spell? I think so. I don't know what geometric means attached to the compass, but that might be, that's for like drawing circles, right?
Right.
There's not much in the backpack, actually. There's a few potions.
That should be fine, as long as there's not like...
I guess I put the rations and the water on one of the goats. Yeah. A few potions... Moth pheromones. I mean, yeah, most of my equipment is 0, as in like it's left at home. Yeah. So I think it's mostly just potions and moth wings in my backpack.
Okay.
Held high enough to keep it from getting wet in the swamp unless I have a miserable day. And I think the next day we traveled there.
Okay. Your movement will be impeded that day as you get to a section that you want to cross and gaze out over the water, seeing that it gets pretty deep in a channel here.
Is this not already lumped in with the abysmal swamp movement rate?
This is an
Especially in, like, a
encounter,
hex.
and this encounter that we've rolled is a difficult terrain encounter.
Okay. How difficult?
Well, you see that the water channel before you is deep enough that it would be overhead.
Yeah.
Or it looks deep enough that it would be overhead. There's like a lack of duckweed and small things growing along the sides. You know, the bushes and plants that start underwater and then grow out and above aren't in this section, which lets you know it's especially deep.
So swamps are already such that you can almost do 2 in a day.
Almost.
You've got 24 movement, swamps take 13. So I feel like I should still be able to move a hex, right? Does this cut move? Are you saying this cuts movement for the whole day in half, or even if it's like 80%?
I mean,
I should still get a full hex.
I think what I'm saying is I need some sort of obstacle overcomance. If you want to go around it,
I think
we can talk about.
I think we go around it. I think we backtrack and we find somewhere where we can cross this river. So maybe we slide a hex over.
Yeah, I think you must end up in a different hex. You end up in this one instead of the one that you wanted.
Which I didn't actually care.
But that's your encounter for the day, is you end up having to go a different direction.
Yeah. Can I roll a perception check to cartographize, to navigate the area, to look for paths, or at least not paths? Oh, damn it.
I will hopefully have that fixed by next session.
Yeah. Sorry to keep rubbing it in your face. No. I managed to find another impassable region. So where was that? Where was that region of water? Is it this whole hex is going to be impassable due to water?
Yeah, it's somewhere around here, somewhere on that border, or just lightly into this one.
Does that mean there's like a river, or is this temporary such that it may divert course the next time I'm here?
It looks to be fairly permanent unless the water levels rise or fall a lot. So maybe with the tides it might change, but the lack of plant growth in the area really makes it seem like this is a permanent obstacle that would need to be overcome. You know, it might get less hazardous, but it's still inhospitable to plant life, so it's too deep. This day you probably can't actually see to the edge of the area, but the ground might be getting a little bit firmer. There might be fewer areas that require wading up to your chest.
Yeah, I'm thinking I can't recover MP in the swamp. Is that correct?
I don't think so. Yeah. I don't think you're going to be able to get like quite dry enough. You're going to be pretty wet the whole time.
Yeah.
Even at night, even if you like were to strip down, you would just be naked and cold instead of wet and cold. Yeah. And one more day, one more encounter check. No, it's fine. The next day, you can manage to step out of the swamp and find your way towards a river, a freshwater river that leads from the plains.
Yeah, I could actually move one more hex through the plains. Or I could stay here and... I think I will stay here, make camp early, like find a safe camp just inside the plains and like take off my boots and try and dry out. Try and set myself up to be able to get a good night's rest.
Okay, I think if you take the rest of the half day to dry and relax and make a good camp, dry your clothes, get yourself all warm and cozy.
It's still activity, but I need to make the night warm, dry, and uninterrupted.
It is so.
Unless I get ambushed.
You do not get ambushed, but partway through your day of making up your camp, you do see a traveler. What looks to be a human, maybe a half-elf, but something of human size, walking along the edge of the swamp with a spear over one shoulder and a bag over a shoulder and a spear being used as a walking stick. Coming your direction.
One?
Just one human, no armor. Only the skimpiest of clothing covers this man's body.
Which direction is he coming from?
From the northeast.
From the swamp or from the plains?
From the plains, along the like he's walking along the edge of the swamp.
I will approach him barefoot. Like I'll walk to like the edge of the camp that I'm making and like wave to him.
Yeah, he seems
I'm
surprised
probably
to see you.
also in skimpy clothes. We probably match, right? Me because I've got like my robe hanging up to dry, so I'm in like a loincloth with a spear and barefoot. Him because this is his lifestyle.
Right. The person will be surprised to see you and raise the spear overhead in a horizontal way to indicate peace.
Yeah. I'll wave and like
Two of you meet.
stick the spear in the ground where I am and walk over to him unarmed.
Greetings, traveler.
Hello. I did not expect to see another traveler here. I am Devon from Necrot in the south.
I am Guanme from Quandary.
Is that a village? I look like where he's pointing.
It is a small one. Where's Necrot?
You haven't heard of us?
He shakes his head.
Well, I across the swamp.
You've come across the swamp?
I nod. I'm like pointing as I'm like doing calculations to figure out how far it is, and then he's like, "You come across the swamp." Only just. Necrot is maybe 5 days journey that way, but could be quicker if it weren't for this damned fen.
How did you cross it in one piece? There are gators, trolls, monsters.
I am a wizard.
He looks shocked and he cuts off his sentence mid-flow. Well, Devon of Necrot. Hello, I suppose. It's a pleasure to meet you. Where are you headed?
I am headed north in search of dwarves or smiths of any repute, really. Craftsmen. To tell them tales of Necrot's glory and see if I can convince them to relocate.
Metal workers. Yes, they live east of here.
And north, I say?
Yes.
Or west?
Yes. No, yeah, sorry. West of here.
West? Okay.
West of here and somewhat north. My people have no workings of metal, although our bone and stone carvings are quite fine. Yeah, it gazes over your weapon with its metal head, and you can see his is a flint spear head.
Well, I am making camp and drying out here on the edge of the plains.
Be in peace then, and I shall leave you that way. To catch for the night. If you find yourself desiring the company of others, my village is but a 2-mile hike along the edge of the swamp.
I appreciate the hospitality, but I'm already settling in to a nice spot here.
Good day, Devon of Necrot.
His village doesn't even warrant being placed on the map, correct?
I mean, if you really want to mark it, we could mark it with
No,
the
but
village.
it doesn't get one of its own accord.
No.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, even some of these villages I've been thinking about taking off of the map.
Yeah.
I might.
This one was.
This one and this one, or whichever one is Remus.
I think this one was, or was it this one? And this was Grecos, but.
Oh, that's true. Grecos is kind of important, and this one down on the coast is kind of important, and one of these two is important.
Yeah.
I think it's this one. This.
I thought there was one village before, but now I can't even remember. It will be on the. It'll be in the wiki.
Wait for McTacky to hear us in chat. He'll correct us.
I don't think he's here today. I think he's probably sleeping.
Well, that's a reasonable thing, thank God.
He got sick of waking up at god-awful hours only to have us cancel on him.
That's exactly what happened, and I do not blame him or anyone else.
All right, so I rest, and I regain some modicum of MP.
Mm-hmm. You do. And it is done.
All right. That'd be it. All right, and the next day I will continue my journey.
In the plains, you can go many more hexes, right?
Right. Yep. That was one. I can do 4 in a day.
Sure. If you want to cross the river, we'll probably have to do a little something about that because the river here is nice and big. No,
I think I will go up to there. So it's 1, 2. That's actually 1, 2, 3. I can go one more. And unless I see a natural crossing, I think this is the path that I take.
Yeah, you see no natural crossings. The river at the mouth of it down here is quite wide, maybe on the order of a few hundred feet. And then it seems to get a little bit smaller. And when you come to this place where the confluence is, yes, and you go north of the confluence, this tributary becomes much, much smaller. It gets quite a bit more narrow, but also a little bit deeper. These areas were broad and wide and kind of shallow, still too deep to really go through. But over here, it's maybe, 50 feet wide and very
Still
deep.
not interested in crossing unless I happen across a bridge or a small shipyard or whatever, a dock.
No such luck. You'll have to make your way around.
Yeah, and I will make camp at the end of the day, and
so no other encounters. Maybe some other humans you see off in the distance.
Okay.
But they don't approach. They'd be like miles off that you can just kind of make out on the horizon.
But there are villages inhabited and almost like a separate society, right? The swamp has kind of separated these peoples for...
Absolutely.
More. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Then if I can, I will continue journeying the next day.
Yeah, the next day you'll actually begin to pass quite a few villages along the edge of the river on this chunk. You haven't seen any down here, but this section of river has many small villages. Every few miles, there's like a village of 100 people or 50 people, or maybe this one's got like 150. Ooh.
Okay. If they're interested in conversation, I will tell them my usual tale as I pass through.
They are very fascinated.
And it's a burgeoning metropolis. They're growing out of the red hills in the south and welcoming all peoples and trade alike. What is at the top of this river? What is at the source?
The river just gets small enough that there's like enough tributaries it's not worth marking on the map at this point, so it just breaks down into more and more.
Is this the source or the sink of the river?
I don't know what a sink of a river means.
Where its outlet? Sink is probably not a river term. Like, is this where it drains? Or what
would be the start, and there's other things that feed into it here, but this is the point at which it's no longer a natural obstacle to cross.
That's super weird. Geographically, I'm trying to think like where this water comes from. Like a ton of tiny rivers draining into it. I guess I need to see what's going on above it. But so is this like a lush farming region right here?
Maybe it could be a lush farming region, but these people's version of agriculture is pretty minor. It's mostly fishermen and a few herders with small plots of crops within the village itself, but not outside. Yeah. It doesn't look like... I think you would get the impression that this area is just dangerous enough that they wouldn't feel comfortable leaving their farms out of, immediate reach.
So this is kind of the direction I'm trudging and not really seeing much. Do I see mountains in the distance anywhere?
Yeah. Not yet.
Wow. Okay. Endless plains.
Anything? I think that's enough movement for one day. Give me another day of movement.
That's the end of my day. Do I can rest there? Let me know if it ever rains and I do not get a warm. Let me know if it rains or if there's encounters that would interrupt my warm and dry
It is
rest.
springtime, but this area is quite arid. But on a natural roll of 16 on 2d8, you will indeed run across a rainstorm this very day.
Okay. Well,
The chances were
I
low.
would have rolled shitty on my MP regain anyways.
Yeah.
So.
You will see in the distance as the evening comes on that there are these storm clouds rolling in from the east, northeast.
Yeah, I think we do our best to find shelter, but in the open plains, like some tiny shrub or an old dead tree or something is the best we can do. And I think we just get dripped on all night.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and the
Super
lightning
restful, but...
and thunder will dominate the soundscape for the course of the night. Your goats are concerned, worried. They bay into the evening. And when morning comes, the storm is lessened. It's sort of drizzling rain, and there's thunder in the distance. That's sort of like...
Which way was it coming from?
The storm had moved in from the northeast.
So if I go north, would I have a better chance of dodging it, maybe? Doesn't matter.
Yes. I think storm circuits are usually bigger than you can walk across in a day, right?
Yeah. In a day? A storm usually blows through but anyways.
Yeah, but like it'll either blow through on its own, or I don't know if you can like outwalk a storm, I suppose.
If it's not like a hurricane, like...
Yeah.
What are typical winds?
Suppose.
Like 20 miles an hour is a pretty... that's a fast wind. Right? 5-10 is actually an appreciable breeze, which is more like jogging pace. So if it's just like if it's drizzle, it's probably traveling at walking pace. If it's like a hurricane, those can move quick. But
yeah. Well, if you want to head north, you can, or you can continue heading east.
Continue heading east.
And it's there that you will see in the distance mountains, hills,
is that a mountain
low-lying
hex,
hills.
or is that a river?
These are hill hexes. Here,
so that was 1, 2.
Yes, and they will become more observant. These are low-laying hills. They don't rise up that high, but the ground does become significantly more broken and difficult.
Yeah.
And
see, 2 of those will get me 12. 3 would get me 18. And I can't really move any further, but if I reach these hills mid-afternoon. Is the storm still raging?
I need to roll my weather check. No. By the evening, the storm heavily abates. The weather becomes nice and calm. You can see the lightning in the distance, and you can hear the thunder, but after the storm blows past you, the area is nice and peaceful. And you can arrive at the hills this day. And this evening, not even that late into the evening, really once the skies clear up, you can see all these rivulets of smoke rising from the ground in these hills, as if the very hills themselves are smoking. Not everywhere, but you might see 40 of them within your immediate area.
Is it like coming from the ground?
Yeah, I mean, like, so you'll be walking towards the hills and you'll see there's just like some smoke coming up from beyond the next ridge, and you can hike up. There's many of them. I just want to give you an opportunity before we delve into approach.
I think I will approach and investigate.
As you come across the first one of these little chimneys, you'll see that the smoke does come from some sort of tube that has been placed in the ground that plunges under the earth.
Constructed. So this is...
Or carved, yeah.
Yeah, so this is like a dwarf's or a hobbit's house. Sorry, a halfling.
Yeah, don't want Tolkien coming after us.
No. Interesting. Do I see any doors?
No. Just right now, it's just this tube and some smoke, and looking around, you can see all these other little smoky things coming out of the ground.
What are the dimensions of these tubes?
4 inches across.
4 inches.
About the size of a wrist. About 4 inches.
Yeah. If I reduced myself by 60%, do I think I could fit down it? Probably doesn't sound like a good idea in either case.
That doesn't seem.
In any case, I think I will camp up here. If I can find a cave, that would be awesome. But otherwise, camping
no
in the
dice.
hills.
You can find, a valley between two hills that'll shelter you from the worst of the weather. Maybe a bit of a cliffside to rest up against, but
I don't
no
think there's much
overhang.
weather, right? Like the storm just passed through.
Correct.
And yeah, I'll rest up here.
Make an encounter check for us. You will awaken the next morning. Your goats grazing on the nearby grasses. Sky opening up before you, nice and blue. You can see the hills extend as far as the eye can see to the east and the south. And to the north from these hill points, you can probably see a little bit beyond what your token shows you. So I'm going to move the token out a little bit just so you can kind of see what's around here. And that should give you a view of everything in that direction.
The plans. I think it will be fastest to move along the outskirts of the hills for now. So I think I'll do something like that. So that would be 10 plus 6 is 16. I can't do another hill hex, actually.
Okay. And from here, you can definitely see the quantity of these hexes as well. And you will see that to the north of you, to the northeast of you, is a lake or an ocean, some sort of large body of water.
Okay. Are there more of these chimneys throughout the hills? Or is it just that?
You saw like a little section, and then you move another 10 miles, and you see another little section of these things.
What would the dwarfs do if all of these chimneys just got plugged? Like if some nefarious trickster just put a potato in each and every one.
Oh. That'd probably piss them off, wouldn't it?
All right.
You gonna do it?
Fortunately, Devon is not that trickster. No. I'll camp out here and continue. Maybe these are the dwarves I'm looking for. So I guess I've got some extra time this afternoon to look for an entrance, right? If I'll go to a region where I see all these chimneys and see if I can find like a mine shaft that goes into them, or like a door in the side of any of these hills, or
give me a perception check.
I could probably use a locate landmark to do that, but I think I'll start just by using my eyes.
Yeah, use a perception check to scout the area, because you still have part of a day left in this hex.
I pass, 26.
Yes. There is a nice, cleverly crafted little door. It looks like a rock on the ground, and as you are looking around the rock, you find it's mostly hollowed out. It's the shell of a rock that can just be lifted up. And when lifted, it reveals a downward staircase carved into the earth here. The first two steps are earthen and planked with wood, and then the next steps down below that are stone. There must be some sort of bedrock here into which these creatures have made their home.
Hello? I call down the shaft.
After a brief pause, there's a voice calling back, saying, "Achtung, Jacob!"
I have language slots, but no languages. Presumably I had some craftsman make me a clay ziggurat. If nothing else, I can maybe use the ground right here to make a clay ziggurat.
Well, get done!
Yeah,
It calls back out to you.
Let's see. I guess tongues you can just cast, right? You don't need to touch the creature involved. You just choose the languages.
They'll enable the wizard to speak in whether they're racial. Spell enables the caster to be understood by all creatures of that type within hearing distance. Wizard can speak one additional tongue for every 3 levels of experience. Yeah, so you pick a language and you can speak it and understand it.
Only lasts for 6 minutes, eh? So I'll go ahead and cast a tongues. Can I use it can I say whatever language they're speaking right now? Or do I have to choose Dwarven?
I think if you're actively hearing a language, you can select that. That seems fine.
Even if you don't know what it is, or like, yeah.
Yeah, but if you like came across a random human who hadn't said anything, you couldn't say that person's language. You'd have to say like Japanese,
you'd have to hear a sample of it or know how to name it.
Right.
And I get 2 tongues, so I guess I would choose whatever dialect this guy's speaking, and then if there's a Dwarven common or something like that, like Dwarven in general. And I will.
Go ahead.
So I'll cast the spell, and it'll go off like midway through his.
One more time, or I'll take your bloody kneecaps. Who goes there? Comes the voice.
I respond in Dwarven now. My apologies. My name is Devon. Might I come in, or?
You're already in, aren't you? At least the door's open. Get in and shut it behind you. And be careful, or you'll get a crossbow bolt in the belly.
Oh my. That won't be necessary. I assure you I come in peace. I pause, wondering if I should take my goats with me or leave them at the surface, and I decide to drag the goats in after me and go down the stairs.
You come down into this very dimly lit chamber. It appears there's some sort of lichen that grows along the wall and the floor of the wall, the area where the floor meets the wall. What's that called? The edge of the ground.
Okay.
The trim, the floorboards. No,
only if those boards
molding.
Are trim.
The molding of the tunnel radiates light. There we go. And I think with your infravision, you can see the outline of a creature some 60 feet in front of you with seems to be something vaguely crossbow-shaped, blocking parts of who they are.
Yeah, I take I scrape off a bit of lichen from the wall as I'm walking, or whatever this iridescent moss is, and take a sample back with me, and maybe culture and grow back home.
Yeah.
Somewhat surreptitiously.
You'll find that this chamber is a little short for you. It's got a height of 5 feet. So, Devon's probably awkwardly leaning over, Gandalfing his way through this tunnel.
Is 5'8". You said a 5-foot ceiling? Yeah. I could reduce myself comfortably, but maybe later.
Well, look what the griffin dragged in.
Is this clearly a dwarf?
Very clearly a dwarf.
Yeah. My name is Devon. I come representing the city of Necrot in the south.
You just start walking into people's homes, Devon? Is that how your people do it? Here we knock.
My apologies for getting the greeting incorrect. Your home looked a little like a rock from the outside. I had to look around a bit to find the entrance.
I suppose you might not know the difference between a home and a rock if you're from somewhere else. Your apologies accepted. Welcome.
Is this your home, or is this a whole village, city?
I think village is a good word for it. How do you know our language if you don't know how to call this place? He mutters at you.
I'm a wizard. In fact, I'll probably forget how to speak this language in about 4 minutes.
I see. Well, then we better talk quickly.
Do you speak any of the common tongue?
Yes, I speak the tongue of humans, and he'll switch over to common very quickly.
Okay.
Although it's a little bit more, he's a little slower to speak it. as if he's
Yeah.
unpracticed.
Yeah. I'm a quick learner, and I might have language slots, so maybe I'll pick up some Elven.
Divan
Or
of
sorry, pick up some Dwarven.
Divan of Necrot.
Yes.
Sounds like a place that's wasting away.
Excuse me? Quite the
Necrot?
opposite.
Sounds
Necrot
like-
is on. Oh.
Necromancy or rotting or something like that. You don't raise the dead there, do you?
No.
Ah.
In fact, much the opposite. Necrot is on the way up. Now is, in fact, the perfect time to settle in Necrot. With the burgeoning culture of craftsmanship and an influx of mineral wealth. Why, I'm here to see if I could persuade any of the legendary dwarven smiths to visit us for a time.
Oh, I see. You've come
Are
to. So what
Much
do
of
you
this
call
was
it?
still in dwarven, I think, while the tongue spell is lasting.
You've
But
come to ask our people to what? Build you something? Join your little home?
something of the sorts. Are you in any position to speak for?
I can speak for my family, but not for the rest of the village.
Well, then, I guess by sheer chance, you will be the first to hear my proposal. Mm-hmm. I brought with me a sample of the wealth that Necrot has to offer.
On your
Now we'll go to
giant goats?
And I will go to one of my giant goats and open the chest of iron coins and open it in such a way that he probably gets a glimpse of what's inside. But I just take out one coin and bring it over to him.
Excellent. He'll take a look at the coin and turn it in his hands, give it a lick, smell, and maybe a little bit of a chew. Say, well, looks like you've got good steel here, or good iron.
I nod. And copper.
You don't
Some
say.
more precious metals too. But only one good smith to work the toils of our lands.
You
Which is
say
why
you've got too much metal on hand, and you don't know what to do with it.
Precisely why I've come here to see if some dwarves might be interested in a sabbatical to Necrot or something of the sort.
You don't know the old fable that we tell our kids, do you? About the man who shows up from out of town saying he's got too much metal and he needs someone to do something with it, and when the dwarves come, it's a trap, and they cage him and they make him work for him for no pay for generations. It's a tale as old as time, or a fable, a warning as old as time, and here you come, the striking remembrance or resemblance of it.
Devon, being a fan of folk tales, commits this one to memory, but does reply, but you see, I've already paid you. So this fable has a bit of a twist.
I see. Well, come on in. It's best not to talk in the hallway. And
This is the hallway.
yeah, he'll waddle his way back down the hallway into what seems to be like some sort of branching chamber. And here you will see maybe a dozen other dwarves have poked their ways out of their various passages and homes and are standing in this chamber that's got like a fountain on one wall. Not a fountain, but like a fountain that doesn't shoot water up. It's a well, whatever, a semicircle attached to the wall, and the wall sort of like leaks water down, and it just like collects in this basin's the word.
Yeah.
And there are leading branching passages and a couple of doors that you see here in this very dimly lit by moss on the baseboards.
If it seems appropriate, I think I will leave my donkeys in the hallway and just like take the hefty chest and slog it encumbered into this makeshift meeting chamber and set it conspicuously on the floor or something like that.
I think it hits with a loud ring of coins.
Greetings, noble dwarfs.
Greetings, your noble humanness. Well, I'm Sason. These are my people.
Are these all your kin? Your family?
He grunts. Aye.
Well, Sason, it's a pleasure to meet you and yours. And I nod about to the assembled dwarves.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll continue. Probably switching to common now. I think the tongues is wearing off. As I said, I am an emissary of Necrot, a free city in the southeast. We are rich in mineral wealth, but lacking in fine craftsmen. And I'm here to see if I can persuade some of you and your people to perhaps visit for a time. Share with us your knowledge in exchange for coin and good steel to work. And at this, I will go over to the chest and open it and take out a fistful of iron coins to pass about to whoever's interested.
Take a look at it. You'll
and
hear
I'll
some
flip them
murmuring.
over and see the symbol of Sayor on the back, and
They nod approvingly. Yes.
this pretty human lady on the front.
They will chatter at each other in Dwarven for a little while. Lots of angry-sounding grunts that are probably really pleasant and nice things to say, but Dwarven is just one of those languages that comes off to the common ear as like harsh with too many consonants and weird vowel sounds that you would never make. Lots of back-of-the-throat noises. And Sason will eventually approach you and say, so what exactly are you saying? You've got a home set up for us to just move into? Complete with bedrooms and whatnot? Or what's going on? What's the plan?
Such arrangements could be made. I am in a position to speak for our town elder.
Are you looking for one family or 10 to join you?
Your families are welcome, but I am looking for skilled craftsmen to hire or to set up with their own shops and businesses. Or visit us for a time, as I said, and share your knowledge and return if you do not find it to your liking.
Well, let me tell you one thing about us, dwarves. We're not ones to leave our family behind. Maybe one person could visit for a year, but we're going to move there. If we're going to be setting up shop, be at least a couple of families. What sort of access to this steel, this iron would we have? Would it be ours? Do you need people to pull it out of the earth? You just need workers?
This steel I pulled from the earth. Oh, nice find.
Those wee little arms and that tiny body of yours?
Small arms, but great leverage. As I said, I am a wizard. Or did I say that? I did say that.
Oh, yeah. You did say that. That makes sense.
Yeah. But there is actually this iron came straight from the plane of Earth. Well, maybe it took a roundabout folded route.
You're telling me you mined this iron straight from the original source?
I like raise my eyebrows or like whatever, juggle my eyebrows at him. But we have a rich copper mine in the Red Hills, and I can pull more of this. So So really, there's whatever it is you desire.
You
I
see,
think I may be able to fulfill. If you'd like to work for hire, or own the steel themselves, I'm prepared to make whatever arrangement you might find amenable.
Our sister town, a couple hills over, has a good tin mine. We tend to do a lot of their working with tin and stone. I haven't often had the opportunity to get our hands on pure iron or copper. Those are good tool-making metals. Not so much with the tin. I suppose I should talk to the family, see what they have to say. Here, why don't I put you up in a room while we have a chat? And he'll take you into one of these doorways, which will lead to a nice, cozy home with a little fireplace in front of it that leads up to a wrist-wide chimney. The insulation of inside means you don't need a big fire to keep the whole place nice and heated.
Yeah, I will say as we're departing, this is take as much time as you need. This is an open-ended offer, a declaration of friendship and openness from the Krot. But
how long are you staying? Because we got no way of getting there if you don't show us yourself.
Fair enough. And, but the I think the first smiths or families that decide to take me up on this offer will probably have the most leverage when it comes to negotiating terms. So take your time, but not too much time. And I sit myself and make myself comfortable in the room.
Yeah, he sends his little children to run around and fetch you things and wait on you while the adults go talk in the other room.
Yeah. And I was deliberately loose with the coins, I think. So maybe a dozen or so got handed out. And I don't know if people are going to take them and show them to their neighbors. I guess we'll see. Or maybe they'll keep this a secret. I don't know. I don't know if you have a conclusion here, or maybe this is a good spot to wrap up the episode. Should I roll some kind of charisma check to see what impression I've made with the dwarf?
Yes.
What is this guy's name?
Sason.
Sason.
Which is, dwarven for son of Seor.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Made a good impression. So the adults will chat for many, many hours. I think you'll end up taking a bit of a nap while you wait for them, perhaps.
Is it easy enough to come and go? Let my donkeys out and
absolutely
stop them from shitting in the hallway and maybe
so you can
them up outside or something, and
you can tend as needed. One of the dwarven kids who doesn't speak common will follow you in tow, just so that way you don't get lost in the underground hallways.
I'll do my best to communicate with him. Pick up dwarven as I can. Did I stumble upon a single dwarven home, or is this a whole complex?
It is a complex. It looks like there might be 40 families that live down here.
Oh, wow.
All connected through various chambers, and you came in through one of what appears to probably be many entrances to this underground area.
Okay. So they will talk for hours, and...
When they're done, they will approach you. They'll have fed you in the meantime, and Sason will come back to you and say, well, we've talked it over long and hard, and we have a few concerns. First, we're a small family unit out here, only, 40 families, so any of us leaving impacts the others quite adversely. If we were to leave, we'd need some sort of upfront compensation to make sure our people here aren't left in the dust. Secondly, we're going to need a certain amount of assurities that there'll be plenty of work for us there, plenty of metals, and that a certain portion of them we could use for ourselves and ship home as needed or hoard until such time as we decide to leave.
All of these requests are perfectly reasonable and doable. I'm sure there will be some scribbling over the exact details, but I have brought with me, I think, enough coin to compensate for the upfront costs. And perhaps we should consider this an exploratory expedition, and we can pencil in the details of the mining rights and such upon arrival.
Of course, we wouldn't want to make a deal without seeing exactly what we'd be working with. Just want you to be upfront about what we're expecting out of this thing. There's one more issue. We won't be no second-class citizens, eh? None of this, we're a little short on dwarves comments, you know?
Of course not. You shouldn't even have to worry about such things, but
Well,
the world
you
we
know,
live in.
yeah.
I can assure you that although Necrot is small but growing, it is a cosmopolitan city with an open mind and open trade. See many peoples. Why, this may come as small assurance, but we even had a giant that stayed with us for a time.
Well then, if everything is as you say, I would be the lead, how would you call it? I would take my family, a couple of my brothers with me, see what you have to offer. If you like it, we'd come back and bring a few families over. Maybe leave 1,000 of these iron coins up front, just in case we don't return.
About how many did I have in the lockbox?
That's a good question. You have access to, like, what was it, 12,000?
12,000, yeah.
Something like that. I assume you have brought 1,000 of it is going to be about 20 pounds. I kind of assumed you brought like 30 or 40 pounds of coins with you.
Okay. I think we can kind of gloss over it, or at least I can leave the note, the penny pinching to you, or maybe it's not necessary. I mean, I think narratively we can, like, I can slide the lockbox over and tell him that he may keep this all as a
perfect
token of good faith and to cover the upfront costs. He may split it as he wishes between the travelers and the families staying behind. I'm prepared to leave whenever they would like and show them the way. There is the small matter of the swamp, the brackish fen between us and Necrot, that I trudged through myself with my two donkeys, but moving a whole family may be more challenging. Or my goats, whatever they are.
Yeah. They seem concerned about the swamp, but that's not going to stop them. If there's something better than tin to work with and a whole bunch of wealth to acquire, these dwarves are on it. And I think we can leave it there for the day. Kind of pencil in the details here as is, and then next session, whatever that may be, we can return, dwarves in tow.
Sounds good. Yeah.
Right. Dice pool.
Yeah. Our first order of business may be constructing the passageways across the swamp. But I guess we'll see how the dwarves feel about navigating that.
Okay. Well, that'll wrap us up then for today. Thank you for playing, Ryan, and thank you all for watching.
Thank you for DMing and for all of your prep.
Pleasure.
We're
so
definitely
much
not
prep.
forgetting anything we did last time.
So much prep, you know?
Weeks and weeks.
So experience, there is a crap ton for spells, plus something for the Gloomwing. Oh, and there was a crocodile that you one-shot. Well, C comes
the
before
Gloomwing.
G. And some role-playing with the humans that you came across. You have preliminarily acquired some dwarves, so that's worth a little bit here. And the giant, and the sick giant wife.
Yeah, I didn't really do anything there, but
you gave them some direction. You have been a mark of something to be approached by giants as friend, and to be able to peaceably work with them.
So are you taking care of the spell learning XP or?
Yeah, total is 5,400, including spell learning.
That needs to be split by class, though, right?
Okay.
Right.
3,000 of that is spell learning.
So why don't we just do that separate?
Okay.
So give me like the both class XP.
2,400 for role playing and combat.
2,400 gets split, so it's 1,200 each, right?
Yep.
And then how many hit dice of creatures? Do I still get fighter XP for blowing up creatures with wizard spells? I think by the books you do, kind of. But
yeah, why not? There were 8 hit dice worth of creatures.
Crocodile and Gloomwing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is how many
8
hit dice?
8 hit dice.
Total?
Mm-hmm. 8.
And I'm a level 6, so that's 8 times 60.
That sounds right.
So 1680 for my fighter. And the fighter to 33,299. And the wizard
was 3,000 for spells, plus 1 arcane spray is 100, plus
so with this campaign we've been keeping track of MP.
Mana, right?
And I've just been getting 10 XP per MP spent, and we
Great.
haven't really squabbled too much about
whether
they were used, whether they were threats or blah blah blah. So that's 570 XP for spells cast. Perfect. And then the 3,000 for the research.
Perfect.
All times 1.1 for the wizard.
Mm-hmm.
Google thinks I'm trying to. What the hell, Google? There we go.
Are you doing Google math?
Yeah, but it thinks I'm trying to search for who knows what. Okay, so that brings my wizard up to 46,404. Still a far cry from 60,000 to the next level.
Yeah. Ooh. And your fighter?
33,299. When does fighter level up?
Isn't it 248, 16, 32, 64?
Did I just level up at 32 or something? Maybe I was just below 32 and we gave me the level anyways. 3264. Yeah.
We have you at level 5 fighter right now.
I'm level 6 fighter.
Your bonus to hit from level is only as a level 5 fighter.
Interesting. Maybe I didn't upgrade that, or did I not?
Maybe you didn't level. Maybe you were at the edge of leveling.
Can we look through?
You remember what your
I was
current...
just below 32, but for some reason I thought we leveled me up anyways. Can we see if I rolled for hit points? Let's see.
I gotta scroll way up. Last session, Devon attacks with fists, 2d4s, d13s. I'm not seeing any d10s rolled.
What about d6s divided by 2?
Ooh.
There's minor gateways, right?
And d6
Attacks
divided by 2.
fists. Was that the previous session?
Did we not get any XP last session?
What?
Portals. There was no XP for the last 2 sessions, according to
Maybe
the
it
wiki.
was at the beginning. I thought we like power leveled and just skipped it or something. Wiki says 5-5. XP totals listed at the end of each recap. I know I was below level up for a fighter, but I thought we took care of the level earlier.
So in episode 203, Devon levels up as a wizard and warrior to level 6, plus 4 MP. But that's many episodes
HP?
ago.
Do we have like an HP log? Yeah, I thought we were 6-6 already. I think I may have just forgotten to upgrade my to hit from level to 5.
Okay. But we haven't included XP from the sort of big winter time warp and the playing with portals either.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Are you sure? Did that not get us? Oh, episode 3 got us. Okay, so
we're actually quite a bit
we just
behind.
leveled, so it's not. Does it say what I rolled for HP? Is that not usually a thing?
Unfortunately. Oh, here we go. Experience, fighter, 13 hit dice. We've got experience totals down to the tenth of a point, but no.
And that's
HP.
what I had going into this session. That was the last. Yeah,
you didn't roll HP. You rolled MP.
I think that's correct. Yeah, I think I forgot to roll HP.
How's that even possible? How do we forget rolling for HP?
So many other fun things.
But you're at 35 hit points.
It's got to be. That's a lot of HP.
Wait, what is your con mod? 1?
+1, but. And I'm also half a fighter. Um, 135 pages of chat logs in this show.
That's way too many. So 5.5 plus 3.5 plus 1 divided by 2 should be about 5 HP per level. So 35 HP would be level 6 on average if you rolled average HP, but there's no, you might have been rolling above average. At level 5, max HP from 25 to 32 plus 7.
Okay.
Max MP from 32 to 45. That's
I've
level
gained
5.
3.
Did you roll 1 and 1?
No, I think
No.
I think I may not have leveled my fighter. Is what it's looking.
Oh, you might have
like.
done. If your fighter and wizard both rolled a 2, they both would have been reduced to 1. You would have gotten 2 from that, 1 from con. So maybe you just rolled really poorly. Because you've got your HP did go up by 3 points and your MP went up by 4 points.
Mm-hmm.
So I think was probably rolled.
The fighter too. That's what I'm.
It would be weird to level both classes, but then not roll HP for both. Right?
Yeah. These clairvoyances and stuff. Let's see.
Yeah, rolled a 2 and a 1, they say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which would have been, yeah. 3 plus 1 for con. Okay, so I think I just forgot to have that +1 to hit.
Perfect. Okay, then. So some sort of experience for the next 2 for... Do a quick.
So are we saying we forgot X? We didn't forget any XP, right?
For the last 2 sessions of play, we had no XP.
Are you sure? Because weren't we just saying that December 2nd was the last time we played? Oh, wait. Oh, that's in-game.
In-game.
Episode 203, get experience, which is the experience I had. Okay. I see what we're saying. Should we just like give a fat chunk or something?
Yeah, let's see. Hires an apprentice, identifies the invents new spells, arcane blast.
I thought we got experience for that. Maybe we didn't.
Lesser disintegration. How'd you learn lesser disintegration? You're not 7th level? Oh, you invented it, but it's a 4th level spell, isn't it?
Oh, did we not invent it?
Or is it just wrong on the wiki? Lesser
Yeah, I don't
Where
have
is a
that on my
fourth
spell
level
list.
spell?
Did we invent it and we just didn't? I didn't learn it. I don't think we got. We said it would be a higher level.
Oh, maybe okay. We invented the spell, but you haven't learned it. Yeah,
this is why the wiki's not canon. Is it actually in your spell list?
It is. Yeah.
Oh, really? So I guess we did invent it.
Source Devon's spellbook.
Okay.
Okay, so 3, 4. Learns Minor Gateway, tests how it works, takes on Cassandra as the apprentice, makes his watchful wards, uses Identify. Oh, you did a lot of shit.
How did we not? I think we might have just said, oh, I just leveled up. We just power leveled me. It's not worth experience. I might have had to run or something.
Yeah. Yeah, why don't we just throw in an extra 5,000 wizard, 3,000 fighter for the missing 2 sessions and call it a day?
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's probably just the easiest way to go about it.
All right, so 5,000 wizard, 3,000. Wait, 3,000 wizard. 3,000 fighter, 5,000 wizard.
Yes.
Plus, so 5,500. Stop stealing my XP, man. All right. So I'm still about, let's see, 32, 60. So I'm still 8K away from wizard. A lot away from fighter. Fighter 7's a big one, though. That's like increased attack rate.
Yeah. Level 7 fighter is a big one.
Yeah.
So we're getting close. And those 4th level spells,
yeah.
On the horizon.
When did we think we could start making magic items?
9th is when you can make potions. 12th for rechargeable.
Potions and scrolls are boring. 12th
is rechargeable items.
Yeah.
And 15th is permanent items.
Yeah. So we're a long way there. Probably halfway to rechargeable.
Yeah. We'll get there. I mean, I think if we do some more large skips and inventions and spells, we can kind of like bop ahead if we want to, like 30 years pass. Devon now has blah, blah, blah.
Keep saying that and then...
Well, we keep doing cool stuff in the meantime, you know?
Yeah.
Once it gets boring, we'll skip ahead a decade or 2 or 3.
Oh, good idea, Red Baron. Could I just have 1.5 million experience?
Yeah, it's fine. If that's
Cool.
if that's what's fun, then let's just do
plus
it.
Plus 10% bonus, right?
Right. So 1.65. It's fine. Okay. That's going to be it for us this week. We will we'll talk about when we're going to be back off stream. And critical feedback will be shortly, but it's clearly going to be delayed because we got to chat for a minute. So mind my hiccups. And we'll see you guys next time.
All right. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.